As for now, Trump promises to regain leadership in the election in two ways. Everyone started to buy the companies that fell because of the COVID-19. Just the next day, Bloomberg strongly criticized this wonderful COVID-19 cure. Welcome to the Coin Post. Current US President Donald Trump has stated that he will win and continue to make America great. And Pfizer and BioNTech companies have made a splash in the stock market by announcing the highly effective results of their new COVID-19 vaccines. The only question is, will everything really be as promised? Will Trump remain president, as Biden has already been officially congratulated by world leaders? Will the vaccine solve all the problems with the virus? Let's sort everything out right here and right now. Give us a thumbs up so that more people get engaged in our conversation and so that the YouTube algorithm is on our side. Let's get into it. I don't think it's news to you that the US election is not over yet and ballot counting continues. At the same time, the leader of the Republican Party and sitting president, Donald Trump, doesn't give up hope to win despite the current results. But the facts show the opposite. As while making this video, the odds are in Biden's favor, and the gap could get bigger once the count is done in Georgia. As for now, Trump promises to regain leadership in the election in two ways. First, initiate recounts in key states where you can expect a result change. For example, Michigan. But Trump gave it up with a big margin of 48% to 50.5%. So my question is, how do you count the votes to get ahead? The answer is very simple. We must invalidate a series of votes for Biden. That is why Trump has repeatedly stated that the counting should stop and the mail-in ballots that were delivered to the station after the vote had been completed should be disregarded. He's gonna get it through the courts. He says on his Twitter that they are making big progress and next week we'll see the results. There is one big downside to this though. Each state counted votes according to the law, and if there was a requirement to account for all postal ballots sent on the election day, regardless of the day they were delivered, they did so. That is, the elections were held within the legislative framework, and what Trump suggests is retroactively change it. Such a trick has very little chance of success, as you understand. Just as it is far from clear what kind of fraud the Democrats were allegedly into. Trump repeatedly claimed elections stolen and promised to bring those responsible to justice. But you don't do it on Twitter or the sympathetic media, you gotta prove it in court, and for now, those are just claims. The second way is to create enough chaos so that, if not to win, then at least to question the outcome, so that the US Supreme Court intervenes. This body has the right to decide who the next president will be, and now, out of 9 judges, 6 are pro-Republican. But in order for the Supreme Court to take up the matter, Trump will in fact need very strong evidence in the form of multiple rulings in his favor by the lower courts. He can't just walk into the Supreme Court and tell them the election was stolen from him and they're his only hope. And indirect confirmation that Trump has no strong case for a trial is that a lot of world leaders congratulated Biden on a victory. They know exactly who Trump is and what he's capable of, so I don't think they'd risk acknowledging his defeat without good reason. Moreover, his opponents came up with a theory, and it's better for Trump supporters not to hear this, that Donald just decided to raise a decent amount of donations, allegedly for the courts, but then to put the money into his pocket, sort of a bonus for the last few days of the presidency. So, this is how it's going with the US elections today. In theory, Trump has a mechanism to change the outcome with the help of the Supreme Court, but it's still unclear whether there is enough evidence for that. Donald promised to show the results and announced the progress, but we'll know the details only next week. As you can see, the situation is still quite complicated. And in order to turn on the collective mind to find a solution, like this video please. And I'm moving on to the miraculous vaccine that skyrocketed some assets and crashed others. The headline news on Monday was an announcement by Pfizer and BioNTech about the near complete vaccine against COVID-19. According to this document, as a result of the Phase 3 study, in which more than 43,000 people took part, their vaccine demonstrated 90% efficacy. And that's when it all started. Gold as a protective asset plummeted and got $100 cheaper. The US stock market situation was far more interesting. Everyone started to buy the companies that fell because of the COVID-19. Take Delta Airlines, for example, or look at the share price of the tourist cruise company Carnival. As a result, the S&P 500 index hit a new all-time high, and the oil price actually went up 8% because the end of the pandemic is associated with the recovery of global demand for black gold. But there were also losers that day. Zoom stock got sold out. They were thriving because of the demand surge for online education and remote work. But once the pandemic is over, kids and students will be back in their classes and adults in their offices. By the way, share in the comments if you'd like to switch your home to office, or maybe it's working out for you well, or your life hasn't changed at all. For conspiracy theorists, they announced the Pfizer vaccine exactly 1 week after the US election. Donald Trump was promising a vaccine before the election, and this could be credited to him. I wonder if the press release could have been held off on purpose. And while you're thinking about it, Trump has already taken credit for this vaccine. But as you know, it's too late to praise yourself now. Just the next day, Bloomberg strongly criticized this wonderful COVID-19 cure. There are many claims there. For example, the fact that such results should be displayed not on the website of the developer company, but to be submitted to scientific journals, where they can be verified for accuracy. The study is still incomplete and provides little information on how the vaccine affects older people who are at major risk. At the same time, they don't yet have approval to begin mass production, nor even a sufficient document package to get it. Now, the main thing is, the vaccine has to be stored at temperatures below 70 degrees Celsius, so for sure there will be supply problems due to logistical difficulties. As a result, we'll have to wait for the miracle vaccine, if there is, until December or even January, and only in the US. And we gotta save the whole world except the Chinese. No wonder the stock markets went down the next day, because for now we have only the prospect of a solution. And somewhere in the back of our mind, I have a doubt that with this vaccine, investors got screwed up like hamsters in a crypt. And I've got a suspicion this might happen again, because this subject is just beginning to unfold and markets maintain a high volatility trend. The best way to get a fresh episodes is to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And don't forget to ring the bell. I'm looking forward to your comments, and make sure you share this video, no matter who you want to see as the next president of the United States. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. It's the Coin Post channel. Subscribe and get enlightened.